Good morning, everybody. Have you forgotten? Listen to this. Have you forgotten you are a Goddard? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's what we're going to talk about today. Have you forgotten you are a Goddard? Now, if you follow Neville Goddard, you might know what I'm talking about. And maybe you follow him, but you haven't necessarily heard him speak about this. And he speaks about this. Good morning. He speaks about this in his lectures. Okay, and he gives a great lecture, and if I can find it, I'll post it here for you. But 100%, it's in my playlist, my Neville Goddard playlist. He talked about how when he would grow up, he said he was very lucky when he grew up because his grandma, when Neville would get negative or get depressed, as a kid or a young teenager, his grandma would always tell him, "Have you forgotten you are a Goddard?" And what we can do is we can put our name into it. Our last name isn't Goddard. My last name's Napier. So I can say the same thing. Have I forgotten I am a Napier? Listen to how much power it has. Put your last name into it or put your whole name into it. Have you forgotten you are Chad Napier? And put your name into it and repeat it. Repeat it when I'm repeating it in this video. Have you forgotten? Have I forgotten I am a Napier? Because the bottom line here with manifesting, we have to keep manifesting simple. It's not about law of attraction. It's not about law of assumption. A lot of you guys are making this way too difficult. Okay, so sometimes, once in a while, I'll get comments, "Well, Chad, you're not really talking about law of assumption. Well, Chad, you're not really talking about law of attraction. Law of attraction is this. Law of assumption is this." And you're getting so detailed on these definitions or these man-made definitions about what things really are. And you're going down a rabbit hole with this rather than just making it simple. Yes, like law of assumption is assuming what you want is already here. That's really law of assumption, but that's the same thing as law of attraction. Okay, we're making this stuff way too difficult. But the bottom line is, it's who you really believe you are. That's why Neville Goddard always talks about this. Have you forgotten who you are? You've forgotten who you are. You've forgotten that Jesus Christ is inside you. You've forgotten. And depending upon your different, you're driving by here. I came to, I don't know where I'm at. I'm in Surin, Thailand. And no, I didn't get a perm. If you're thinking that way, it's the humidity in the air makes my hair curly. But I kind of came here. I thought it would be a little bit quiet. But it's way more quiet than if I go off to the main road over here. But sorry for that little tangent. But depending upon your beliefs, okay. And because lots of times people think like, okay, we're a spiritual being, and just talking about as a spiritual being, we have power to do anything we want. We have power to get anything we want. We have power to manifest. Okay? Abundance is our birthright. Okay? We have this power as a spiritual being. We can do, have, and be anything we want as a spirit. Okay? But as we take human form, as we come to earth, wherever we came from, as we take human form, we didn't really give up the power. We still have the power. But we've forgotten that we have the power as a spiritual being. And this is with everybody. We have forgotten who we really are. We have forgotten how powerful we are. We have forgotten that we can call things into existence, just like Jesus said in the New Testament. Jesus said in the New Testament many times that we can do all the miracles that he performed, we can do, and even more. We can do exactly what he could do. We can be, do, and have anything we want. One of the reasons why Jesus came, now there's several reasons wrapped into this, But one of the reasons Jesus came to earth as the Son of God is because to break the law of karma. What's the law of karma? Is bad things just keep on happening to you over and over and over. The law of karma is when poverty is in your family, poverty stays in your family for generations. It's like a generational curse. He came to break those generational curses. And if you go back and you study and do some research on this, when Jesus came, the king, I think it was Caesar that was king at the time. I could be having a brain fart right now, so don't quote me on this. But the bottom line, doesn't matter who the king was. The bottom line is the king oppressed its people during that time period. And that's not all. And the biggest religious leaders at that time oppressed its people. So you had oppression from both sides. What's oppression? It keeps people in poverty. It keeps people in a poverty mindset. It keeps people in the law of karma. Okay? It's almost just like I'm in Thailand right now. And a lot of Thailand is people have a poor mentality. And they don't know how to get out of it. They don't know how to break the cycle. Or the only way, sometimes if you're a Thai girl, the only way you think you can break the cycle is if you have a foreign boyfriend. You have a foreign boyfriend that makes more money. You break that cycle. You break that cycle of poverty. But this is the whole reason why Jesus came. When Jesus came, he told all his disciples that, hey, spread the good news. What's the good news? Okay, what's the good news he was referring to? The good news is what you have forgotten right now. You have forgotten you're a Goddard. Put your name into that. I have forgotten I'm a Napier. I have forgotten that abundance is inside me. I have forgotten that the heaven is inside me. I've forgotten that. I have forgotten that the Spirit lives inside me. I have forgotten that abundance is my birthright. Abundance is all around me. I've forgotten this, and you have forgotten it. I have forgotten that I can call things into existence. I've forgotten it, and you have forgotten it. I have forgotten that imagination creates reality. Our 4D world creates reality. I've forgotten this. And you have too. See, it's all in our eternal beliefs. It's how we're thinking. It's how we were brought up. Okay, it's whoever influenced us with their philosophy of life when we're 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. Okay, it's our parents, it's the school systems, it's our teachers during that time. Mainly our parents, but sometimes you can't throw that in anymore because a lot of kids, they go off to like daycare when they're 3 years old. Okay, then they go to daycare, then they go to preschool, then they go to kindergarten and first grade. So they've been in school since they're in some type of school system since they're 3 years old, learning the philosophy of life by another teacher. You know what I mean? And they're observing. When kids are that small, all they're doing is observing and listening. Then they grow up, and they're not even an adult yet, and their beliefs are formed by the time they're 7, and they have forgotten. They have forgotten they are a Goddard. You have forgotten. I have forgotten. The power is within us. The power is within everybody. The bottom line is we just don't believe it. See, the bottom line is when you go inside your imagination, you really don't believe imagination can create reality. You really don't believe what you see in your 3D world that you have created. You don't believe it, but that's the truth. It's almost like we're living in a simulation. Our 3D world is a simulation. Our 3D world, if you pay attention to it, will constantly change according to how we think. And let me give you an example. And I've done this many times. I fell in a trap many times. Is that if I have a bad day, you get up, you stub your toe, then you start telling yourself, oh my God, it's going to be one of those days. Next thing you know, you just go down a spiral. and negative things keep on happening to you over and over and over again. Because that's your mindset for that day. You went and see, without you knowing it, what you've done, you went inside your imagination and you created those negative scenes. And similar scenes have come into your life. That's basically what's happening. You go to work, you go to a job that you hate. All you do at work is mentally complain about your job, mentally complain about your boss, mentally complain about your coworkers you hate and dislike. Or you go to work and you talk negative about your significant other. Then when you come home, you talk negative about your coworkers. You're living in this vicious cycle. That's a cycle of karma right there, baby. That's a cycle of karma. You're doing the same thing over and over and over and over, expecting different results, expecting wealth, expecting for you to get what you want. This is why you're not getting what you want, because you're focused on the wrong shit. You're focused on the negative, and negative is what's coming into you. What you put out has to come back to you. Those are laws of the universe. If you put out good, guess what? Good has to come back. But you might sit there and say, well, Chad, that don't work. Back in the day, I used to do good for everybody, and nothing came back to me. Really? When we think something don't work, it's because what we've done is we've tried to control the how. See, I'll give you an example of this. One of my exes kind of believed this way a little bit. Like, she never wanted to ask like a friend or a good friend for help, even if you needed a babysitter or something like that, because she didn't want her friend to say no. And she didn't want when you have a group of friends, she didn't want to kind of feel weird when you hang out, you've been friends for years and none of them will help you. But anyway, what happens is that we try to control the how. When we help somebody, we try to control the how, where it's coming from. What I mean by that, if I help my friend David, and I'm making this up right now, but if I help my friend David, maybe babysitting or whatever, see, the trap that I fall into is that when I need help, I think David's going to help me. You see what I'm saying? I'm controlling the how, because I'm controlling it where it's coming from. And then maybe I'll call David. Maybe David's having a bad day. Maybe it's a day that he's just flipping slammed and he just can't help. Or maybe he doesn't even have to think about it. I call him up and he says, no. You know what I mean? Then we have a little temper tantrum. Oh my God. Well, this being good and doing good for people just don't work. Because you're controlling the how. Okay, it's just like manifesting. When you want something in your 4D world, you go inside your imagination as if you already have it. At that point, you let it go. You stop. You stop controlling the how. You stop trying to figure out, well, is it going to come from this? Is it going to go over here? Is it going to come from over there? See, that's what we do. And it's the same thing happens when we're giving, when we're helping people. We expect it to come in certain angles. But things do come back to us. But we just have to let it go. It will come back to us in a different way. That's what we have to understand. It's not going to come back to us exactly how we want it to. You got to give that up to God. You have to give that up to the universe. So those are some of the flaws that we have, because we're trying to control where it's coming from, rather than thinking that all the puzzle pieces are working in my way for me to have what I want. If you want your dream car, you're going inside your imagination as if you already have your dream car. Everything is working out in your favor for that dream car to come to you. But what you have to do, you have to get out of your own way. And the way you get out of your own way is only focus on your job. What do I mean by that? as I don't burn my head with my coffee. Your job, this is our job. This is my job. This is your job. Is my job is only focus on what I want, go in my 4D world, in my imagination, act as if I already have it. Boom. That's it. That's my job. That's it. That's all I got to do. Is put myself in that state, put myself in those feeling states, act as if in my 3D world I already have what I want, and that's it. That's all I got to do. See, the universe, whatever you want to call it, the universe, God, it's God's job to put everything together and have it come to you. It's not your job. See, when it's the universe's job, it comes from many, many, many different angles. It can come in 1,000 different ways to you, and you're limiting it by only one direction. Okay. But let's get back. I kind of got off on a tangent. See, the bottom line is you've forgotten who you are. Have you forgotten you are a Goddard? Let's wrap this up. Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten Jesus Christ is inside you? Have you forgotten that you have all the powers of God? You are a God. This is what you have to understand. This isn't blasphemy. You are a God because the Spirit of God lives inside you. The Spirit of God is inside you. The Holy Spirit is inside you, no matter what you want to say. Jesus Christ is inside you. You have the bloodline of a king inside you. Heaven is within you. This all comes from the Bible, the New Testament. Heaven is inside you. Heaven is within you. Jesus Christ is inside you. Abundance is your birthright. When Jesus came to preach abundance. Abundance is your birthright. Poverty isn't your birthright. Being poor isn't your birthright. Struggle isn't your birthright. Being an alcoholic isn't your birthright. Struggling with drugs isn't your birthright. Abundance is your birthright. Whatever you want, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to be, that's your birthright. You can call what you want into reality. And the trick is, manifesting can work very, very fast. Okay, even in Jesus' time, when he healed the sick and healed people and performed miracles, okay, it came very fast for him. Why? Because he totally believed it. He believed it to his core. Do you believe to your core that you possess these powers? Do you believe to the core that you deserve the lifestyle that you want? See, that's the thing. That's why they say manifesting is from within out. Okay, it's what your deep beliefs are within. It's what's inside you. It's manifesting on your exterior. That's how it's working. You can't fool the universe. You can't fool God. You might be able to fool other people. You might be able to manipulate other people. You might be able to go to work and manipulate your boss while you're stealing from him. Manipulate your boss that you're the best worker when you're probably the poorest worker there. What I mean by poor is like performance-wise. We all know people like this. But see, the thing is, when we get into manifesting, we're doing all these manipulation techniques in our 3D world. Then all of a sudden we think, oh, I can fool God, I can fool the universe. But you can't. But what's inside you is manifesting out of you. It's within out. So you have to change. Have you forgotten you are a Goddard? I love to say that even as an affirmation. Now I say, have I forgotten I'm a Napier? That has so much power, and you put your own name to it. Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten? Abundance is yours. Abundance is your birthright. Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten that anything you want, you can call anything into existence? You just have to believe it. You have to believe it to your core. You have to let it go. But anyway, my friends, I want to wrap this up. I've already talked almost 20 minutes. Go off on a little tangent here. I'm going to go up back here to the big road, so I want to get a little bit more just the noise, background noise. I'm in Surin, by the way. Now Surin, I'm in Surin, Thailand. I live in Hua Hin, Thailand. Hua Hin's kind of down by the beach. Hua Hin is, what I did was I took a bus up to Bangkok. The bus ride was 3 hours, but the the driver got lost, so it took like 4.5 hours. But it should have only taken 3 hours. So from Hua Hin to Bangkok, 3-hour bus ride. Then in Bangkok, we took a taxi over to my girlfriend's sister's place, and then we slept there, then got up in the morning, then we drove to Surin. Surin with no traffic is about, give and take, about 6 hours. So 6 hours north of Bangkok. So it's more in the countryside of Thailand, and it's kind of like nice and peaceful up here. I'm kind of like, I walked off the big road in this little nook area, and sometimes I come out here and walk. Sometimes I can see Thai buffalo. Sometimes I'm walking Thai buffalo down the road. To have them like go in these giant fields down here on the opposite of this building here. There's a giant field. They'll let the buffalo out, run around and eat the grass and all that jazz, running around and play because it's cool in the morning. It's not as hot. But anyway, I'm up here. We're going to go back today. Actually, we're going to drive back today to Bangkok. We might spend a couple days in Bangkok because I want to check out Bangkok, check out a couple areas, check out a couple areas to see if I like them as far as getting a condo there. Because I'm thinking once my lease is up in Hua Hin, I don't know if I'll stay in Hua Hin or not. I might come up to Bangkok, live in Bangkok for a year, kind of see how I like it, kind of like move around a little bit, see how I like different areas, see what areas are more my personality and stuff like that. And yeah, so, but anyway, just want to share that. Remember, comment below. I love you guys. Hang in there. And remember who you are. Have you forgotten you're a Goddard? Have you forgotten you're a Napier? Put your name into it. I'm a Napier. Jesus Christ is inside me. Heaven is within me. Abundance is my birthright. You say these things almost like a robotic affirmation. And sooner or later, you wake up and you start believing it. Abundance is mine. I can have anything I want. But anyway, my friends, peace out, and I'll see you in the next video.